Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatim Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Grandraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. So we're reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 3rd canto, 21st chapter, titled as Conversation between Manu and Kardama Muni, text number 38 to 44. In this shloka's description of a beautiful lake named as Bindu Sarovar is described here. Bindu Sarovar is situated in a place called Siddhapur in Gujarat. Now this Bindu Sarovar is existing since Satyuga, when son of Brahmaji, Kardama Muni, did tapasya to please Lord Vishnu. This tapasya was done by Kardama Muni at the lake Bindu Sarovar. At this Bindu Sarovar, Kapila Muni also instructed the science of Sankhya Yoga to his mother Devahuti. So this Bindu Sarovar has very prominent place. It's very spiritually is very important lake. And as we learned in this shloka yesterday, the description of this Bindu Sarovar is here in this shloka, where it says that Yasmin Bhagavato Netran Nyapatan Ashru Bindava Kripaya Samaparitasya Prapanne Arpitaya Brisham Tadavai Bindu Saro Nama Saraswatya Pariplutam Punyam Shivamrita Jalam Marshi Ganasevitam. The Bindu Sarovar, which is a holy lake, is flooded by water of Saraswati river. And this is the place where all the sages, prominent sages, they go there for tapasya. Its holy water was not only auspicious but as sweet as nectar. And it is called Bindu Sarovar because the lake is formed by the tear drops which had fallen off from the eyes of Lord Vishnu when he saw extreme austerity performed by Kardama Muni to please him for the protection. So when Lord Vishnu became emotional and became very compassionate, at that time the tears which flow from the eyes of Lord Vishnu became the Bindu Sarovar. And as we learned yesterday in the purport, that this Bindu Sarovar is worshipped by great sages and scholars. And it is as auspicious as Mother Ganga. As Ganga comes from the feet of Lord Vishnu, Bindu Sarovar is coming from the eyes of Lord Vishnu. And the word used here to describe Bindu Sarovar water is called as Shivamrita Jala. Shivamrita, Shiva means curing. So this is the Jala which cures everybody from all the problems, material disease. So water of Bindu Sarovar and Ganga are similar, non-different. So that is the description of Bindu Sarovar. Now this Bindu Sarovar is surrounded by beautiful, it was in the Satyuga, it was surrounded by beautiful forest, gardens, and that description is here in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So here the next shloka describes the beauty of Bindu Sarovar. It says, Punya Druma Lata Jale Rutat Punya Mrugad Vijay Sarvartu Phala Pushpadhyam Vanarajishyanvitam. So the shore of the lake Bindu Sarovar was surrounded by clusters of pious trees and creepers. Now, these pious trees and creepers which were surrounding the Bindu Sarovar, they were rich in fruits and flowers, which were there throughout all the seasons, that afforded shelter to all the animals and birds, which uttered various types of sounds. And this Bindu Sarovar was adorned by the beauty of groves of forests. So here we can see that beautiful lake which is formed by the tears of Lord Vishnu, and this is a very auspicious lake, is surrounded by the forest trees. And these trees are very pious because these trees have lots of fruits and flowers which are there all throughout the season. And these trees, they give shelter to pious animals and birds. You can see that there are different types of trees which are described here. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada ji explains that it is stated herein that Bindu Sarovar was surrounded by pious trees and birds. You see that? Word used is pious. Punyaha. Punya druma lata jale. Kuta punya mruga dvije. So punya is the auspiciousness. So Prabhupada is explaining the word punya here. As there are different classes of man in the human society, some of the men are pious and virtuous, and some of the men are impious and sinful. So among the trees and birds also there are pious and impious people, birds and trees. The trees which do not bear nice fruit or flowers are considered impious. And the birds which are very nasty, such as crows, are considered impious. So trees can also be impious, but impious trees don't have any fruits or flowers. And the birds which are impious, like crows, these are not so nice. In the land surrounding the Bindu Sarovar, there was not a single impious bird or trees. So Bindu Sarovar was pious and the surrounding was also pious. All the trees had flowers. The birds were making nice sound. Every tree bore fruits and flowers, and every bird sang the glories of Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we can see that Bindu Sarovar was surrounded by beautiful trees and birds and forests. Next sloka it is said, Mata dvija ganirgushtam, Mata brahmara vibramam, Mata barhi natatopam, Avyayam mata kokilam. The area was resounded with the notes of overjoyed birds. So Bindu Sarovar, there were lots of surrounding the Bindu Sarovar, there were lots of birds who were overjoyed. There were intoxicated bees wandered there. Intoxicated peacocks proudly danced, and mercy cuckoos called one another. So here you can see that not only the trees, but then the birds were also happy, and they wandering here and there. They were intoxicated, which means that they were overjoyed with the beauty of lake, and they danced there. Prabhupada explains the beauty of the pleasant sounds heard in the area surrounding the lake Bindu Sarovar is described here. After drinking honey, the black bees became maddened and they hummed in intoxication. Merry peacocks danced just like actors and actresses, and merry cuckoos called their mates very nicely. Next shloka, more beauty of Bindu Sarovar is Kadamba Champaka Ashoka Karanja Bakulashane Kundamandara Kutasche Shutapotir Alankritam Karanda Vahe Plaver Hamse Kurare Jala Kukute Saraschakravakesha Chakorer Kujitam. The lake Bindu Sarovar was adorned by the flowering trees such as Kadamba tree, Champaka tree, Ashoka, Karanja, Bakula, Asana, Kunda, Mandara, Kujata, and young mango trees. The air was filled with pleasing notes of Karandava ducks, plavas, swans, ospreys, waterfalls, cranes, chakravaks, and chakoras. So here the names of different trees which were surrounding the Bindu Sarovar is mentioned here. Now some of these trees we may not have even heard about it, but you can see the detailed description in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Purport Srila Prabhupada explains, for most of the trees, flowers, fruits and birds mentioned here as surrounding the Bindu Sarovar lake, English synonyms cannot be found even. So some of these trees are not even heard or understood by people from the Western world. All the trees mentioned here are very pious in that they produce nice aromatic flowers such as Champaka, Kadamba, and Bakula. The sweet sound of waterfall and cranes made the surrounding area pleasant as possible and created a very suitable spiritual atmosphere. Further, it is described Tatheva harine krode Shwavid Gavaya Kunjare Gopucher Haribhir Marker Nakule Nabhir Vratam. It shores it shores abounded with deers, boars, porcupines, gavayas, elephants, baboons, lions, monkeys, mongooses, and musk deers. So here we can see the beauty of Bindu Sarovar. There was beautiful forest, so many wonderful trees and birds in it, and there are so many animals in this forest, which are the names of all the animals are here. Purport Srila Prabhupada explains, musk deers are not found in every forest, but only in places like Bindu Sarovar. They are always intoxicated by aroma of musk secreted from the navels. So these are very special type of deers, and they have special type of fragrance. Musk deer is also called Kasturi Mruga, and they have a special type of aroma which is called Kasturi from the navels, which gives a fragrance. Kavayas, the species of cow mentioned herein, bear a bunch of hair at the end of their tails. This bunch of hair is used in the temple worship to fan the deities. It is called Gavayas. Gavayas are sometimes called chamaris, and they are considered very sacred. So these are special type of cows, and the hairs from their tails is used to make the chamar for fanning Krishna. In India, there are still gypsies or forest mercantile people who flourish by trading kasturi or musk, and the bunches of hair from the chamaris. Okay, so there are people who trade this. These are always in a great demand for higher class of Hindu populations, and such business still goes in large cities and villages. So here we can see that very special type of animals are mentioned here. So Kardama Muni is doing tapasya in such a wonderful place, and he is waiting for Swayambhuva Manu to come because Lord Vishnu had promised him that told him that Swayambhuva Manu and his wife Satrupa will come. So here we can see the beautiful description of Bindu Sarovar. I will show some pictures of Bindu Sarovar for the understanding of everybody. Here we can see this is the beautiful lake of Bindu Sarovar currently in a place called Siddhapur in Gujarat. And you can see the lake and there is a beautiful temple there in it. And this is the place that geographically it is situated in Bindu Sarovar here. And this is the current construction. This is a modern construction. There is a lake and then surrounded by a temple. There's another view of the Bindu Sarovar. So Bindu Sarovar is beautifully described in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So we'll pause here. We'll continue our journey of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam tomorrow. Mantraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam.